Possible task in this city to find a Democrat and a Republican willing to work together. And yet I found two that are doing just that. And combined, they have about 30 years on Capitol Hill, or more, actually. They are former representatives. They're working together, and surprisingly, they are retired now and in the private sector. And like just about everybody here in Washington, they're troubled by what they're seeing here these days.
Let's face it, you don't have to leave the U.S. to see that democracy can be messy. This explosive exchange happened in Kiev as Ukrainian lawmakers tried to settle a dispute in parliament with fists rather than votes. Just a little over a month ago, different country, same scene. Members of parliament in Taiwan scuffle over a planned nuclear power plant. So far in Washington, it's just insults being traded and not punches.
Enough is enough. Sequestration is stupid. Shutting down the government is stupidity on steroids.
The government shutdown makes it seem as though it's impossible for Republican and Democratic lawmakers to work together. But that's not what you'll hear if you spend time in this office with former Democratic House Leader Martin Frost. He points to pictures from what seems like another era. It was a time when lawmakers had little trouble working across the aisle with members of the opposition party. In fact, Frost did it then and is still doing it. Not far from his office is Kenny Hulseth, a former Republican lawmaker. They worked together on the Hill, and they're doing it today at the Polsinelli Law Firm in Washington, D.C. Both agree leaders in Washington have forgotten the first rule of politics.
Politics is really about relationships. I mean, getting things done requires that you work with someone. I mean, it's easy to stop things by just drawing a line in the sand and saying we're not going to compromise. On the other hand, if you want to govern, I mean, if you really want to move something forward, you have to have some sort of a relationship with someone else in order to build support for your idea.
Even though Hulseth hasn't really settled into his new office, he still has his TV set out and on. He's watching the drama unfold and marveling at what he's seeing. And he's not alone.
I'm chairman of the board of the National Endowment for Democracy, and here we are, we're promoting democracy around the world, and it's kind of hard to say, you know, you really should emulate us, you should have a more democratic government, and they look at us and they say, well, your government doesn't work very well. We are on the verge of becoming kind of a laughingstock.
So it makes you wonder if this whole thing could end if the men at the heart of this stalemate were to spend just some time here, listening to these former lawmakers talk about the benefits of bipartisanship.
I'm not sure that some of these folks would really care. I say that with affection.